The 2021 Hall of Fame class. We need to talk about this because my god, this one completely caught me off guard here. But before we get into this video, I just want to say congrats to all the people that got inducted into the Hall of Fame. This was a great class, which is why I made this video. And with this class, there were some surprises, some things I did like, some things I didn't, and some were surprising and others not so much. So in this video, I will look at each Hall of Famer and look at their careers and see if they really live up to this honor. I will also make some personal recommendations for next year's class because there were some people I would have liked to see in this year's list, but we will get into that. But before we begin, if you happen to like this video, then consider smacking a like on this video. It helps my videos get out to other people, and if you happen to be new to the channel, then consider subscribing to the channel. It's free and you won't miss out on other videos I post. So let's get it. So let's get started with the first inductee on this list, and that is Peyton Manning. This was the most obvious one out of all the ones here, and even when I was looking through the 25 finalists, I was like, yeah, you already know he's getting in. The man's got 5 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl championships. He had one of the best passing seasons by any quarterback ever in 2013, where he threw for 55 touchdowns. He threw for over 71,000 passing yards in his career, along with 539 touchdowns, and with a 65% completed passes. 14 Pro Bowl selections, 7 All-Pros, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year. He made the 2000s All-Time Team and the NFL 100 team. I mean, do I really need to say more here? Although not exactly the best postseason performer, Manning made up for that by winning a ring with both the Colts and the Broncos. This was Manning's first year of eligibility, so this makes Manning a first ballot Hall of Famer, and this is more than well deserved. Next up here is, and this was also no surprise either, and that is Charles Woodson. The 9-time Pro Bowler and the 4-time All-Pro was a force and known as one of the best cornerbacks of all time. I would definitely say that he deserves this honor as well, but this one was also very expected. The third Hall of Famer is John Lynch. Now I really like this pick because not only this was a long time coming, as he had to wait for a long while, 7 years to be exact. Although he had to wait a pretty long time, came at a really good time, as the day after he got announced, his former team, the Buccaneers, won the Super Bowl. He was even at the event and was part of the announcements before the game even started. So I thought this was poetic, just because he was part of Tampa's first Super Bowl almost 20 years ago, back in 2002. A great pick, and this was a long time coming. Fourth up is Drew Pearson. This one was not a bad pick at all. If you thought John Lynch had to wait a long time with 7 years waiting, Pearson had to wait 33 years to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. He is a 3-time Pro Bowler and also known as one of the best wide receivers during the 1970s. So I thought this was a good pick as well. Now, if you happen to find this guy unfamiliar to you, he was that guy that caught the first Hail Mary. Did that jog your memory? Fifth inductee to mention, and this was the biggest reason why I was interested to make this video in the first place, and that was Calvin Johnson. This was a massive shocker to me, as I thought that Megatron was never going to make the Hall of Fame at all. Now, I could be the only one surprised here, but I was very excited to see Megatron get inducted here, and even though this was a massive W for the Hall of Fame here. Now, when I say that he would never make the Hall of Fame, I don't mean I personally think he does not deserve this honor, because he definitely does. I can go as far to say that he is better than both T.O. and Randy Moss, but that's just my opinion. But for the short time he played for, though, I thought that he just didn't play long enough. That's all. But seeing Calvin getting inducted gives me hope for other talent like this to get in as well. But more on that later. Great choice, so let's move on. Sixth inductee was Tom Flores. Now, a lot of people don't know him too well, and although I did know him before this, I did not know too much past the fact that he won 2 Super Bowls as a coach for the Raiders. But he did make the Oakland a force during the 80s, which led to 2 Super Bowl victories. He went 91-56 during the 9 seasons coaching for the Raiders, and 8-3 in the playoffs, which is only behind the great John Madden himself. Flores was one of the 3 non-modern era inductees on this roster, along with Pearson and the 7th inductee, Bill Nunn. Bill Nunn, I can assume no average fan would know who this was. Nunn was a scout and a sports writer supporting HBCUs during the 70s and 80s. He was a very important figure as he helped build the Steel Curtain defense during the 70s. Talent like John Stallworth, Donnie Shell, Jack Lambert, and Mel Blount were all scouted by Nunn himself. Not to mention, his career for scouting for the Steelers lasted from 1968 to 2013, which is 45 years. He had a 45-year career, which was amazing to say the least. He unfortunately died back in 2014, a year after he retired, so he never got to see himself get inducted. His family, however, does get to see him. They do get to see this process played out, so there you go. The 8th and final inductee is Benicha. He was a left guard for mostly the Steelers, while he spent the later half of his career with the Jets and the Cardinals. The 9-time consecutive Pro Bowler was an inside blocker for Jerome Bettis during the early 2000s. He also is a 6-time All-Pro and was part of the 2000s Hall of Fame team. I would say this was a solid choice, as he was one of the best modern guards of all time, and certainly the best, certainly in Steelers history as well. A good choice, no doubt. Well, that was all of the 8 inductees for this year's Hall of Fame. Talent-wise, I would say this would be the most talented classes we have ever seen in a while, but not only talent, but impact as well. Just about all of these players have impacted the game significantly one way or another. Some very important players got inducted, no doubt, but the main thing I like here was Calvin Johnson's induction. It might just be me, or this video could be just completely pointless, but I never expected this at all. Now that Calvin Johnson could be in it, it opens up the window for new opportunities for other players. The player that hits my mind right off the bat is Chad Johnson. He could possibly get in, but for me, it could be players like Randall Cunningham, who I see getting into the Hall of Fame now, and maybe Michael Vick, but that one could be a little bit of a stretch. Think of it like this. Calvin Johnson did not even play for 10 years in the NFL. His career was very, very short. Sure, he broke a lot of records during that time, but it's 7 years no less. If Calvin Johnson was able to get in with 7 years of impact, people like Randall Cunningham, who has 1 MVP, could help his case, could actually get in. Or someone like Michael Vick, who opened the door for modern era quarterbacks to have an ability to scramble in the first place. I could go on, but I'm pretty sure you get the point here. Overall, I just love the new potential talent for the future as in regards to new talent, and I believe Calvin Johnson's induction was the first step. The only slight issue I have with this year, as in who should have gotten in this year, I would have really wanted to see Jared Allen get in somehow. The Vikings pass rusher was a complete force for the Vikings, and I believe he deserves first ballot, no questions asked. I would also love to see Tony Boselli get in here as well. The man also had a very short career, but I would definitely say that he's been waiting for a while now, and I would say he's the best player in Jaguars history. So I mean, I thought this would be his year to do it, but he'll have to wait next or possibly even longer, but we'll see what happens here. But as far as for the future 2022 class, I would love to see Jared Allen, Bryant Young, Patrick Willis, Leroy Butler, and Reggie Wayne get into this class. However, the 2022 new players will be available for induction, like DeMarcus Ware, Andre Johnson, Steve Smith, Anquan Bolden, Robert Manthis, and Vince Wilfork will be eligible for next year. So we'll have to see what happens in 2022, but it'll be very interesting to see. But overall, this was a really good class. This year's Hall of Fame was really good. A lot of justice was done here with this class, and it opens up opportunities for new talent to come in, but we'll have to see. But the 2021 Hall of Fame class, what do you think? Was it good, or does it leave room for improvement? Go ahead and comment your thoughts down in the section below. I would love to see what you think here. Anyways, thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, and we'll see you next time, and have a good day.